Yo, what's up guys, be by Haiti and yeah, in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and that you can start using today to have good and better mix. So yeah, today's going to be like a Monday rush kind of tutorial. So yeah, without wasting much of the time, so yeah, the number one thing that I think that you should start doing today if you want to have a better mix is to always mix on mono. What do I mean by mix on mono is to like for instance, now this whole beat, you can see that it's all spread out. So the way I do it is I come to my master channel, I come to a utility, I drag in a utility on this, and I just click on this mono right here, and you notice the whole track will come into the middle and there will be no left and right track. So you tend to ask that what is like the usefulness of this? This is very useful because it's going to help you to balance your sounds well and make sure that sounds are not clashing. Because if you can be able to mix on mono and you can hear every sound clearly without no sound overshadowing each other, definitely when you spread it all out back to the stereo, you are going to definitely have a very good and crisp mix situation whereby every sound is going to come out clean and nothing will be clashing with each other. So I advise you to start mixing on mono today. You just drop any mono plugin or VST that you have into your master channel, and you just start to use it to balance your mix. And when you're done, you spread it out and you just notice how powerful this tool is. The next thing I'm going to be showing you guys, which if you watch my video you know I always do, is to make sure that you always layer your sounds. Very important, because sometimes you might play just one instrument and it might sound weak, but when you now pan it, like you now add another sound into it, maybe two sounds, one to the right, one to the left, and one in the middle, you realize you're going to have this full and heavy sound, you know, because sometimes you're trying to mix and add many things on just one particular plugin to give it that heavy sound. Meanwhile, when you just do this by spreading out your sounds, and you know, you can now be able to notice that, oh, now you're starting to have that nice heavy sound. So now let me show you guys. Now this is the difference. This is just one sound on its own. Now see when I layer it with another sound, then you see the difference. You see, it gives it this different vibe. So if I like, I can add another one and pan it to the right, and you just notice the difference between using just one sound and layering sound. Speaking about layering sound, the next thing that you can do when you're layering sound, make sure that you are picking your sound based on frequency, so that you don't have a muddy mix. For instance, if you have a sound that is playing on a lower note, make sure you bring in another sound that you're using to layer that sound that is playing on a higher note, like on a higher octave or something, so that you don't play two or three the same layered sound on same octave. It can be muddy. Maybe the low frequency of the mix can be too muddy. Let me demonstrate with this. Like if you notice now, this particular contact that I played, sorry I bounced it already because I mixed this track already. So this particular contact, and if you notice, it's kind of on the low side of the mix. So what did I do? I added a layered sound, but this one is kind of in a higher frequency, so that even that low frequency of the first piano that I played, you'll be able to hear it clearly. So you can notice that you can hear both the contact and the omnisphere sound together. So when you are layering your sound, also make sure that you are layering sound based on frequency and based on octave. Don't layer two sounds that are playing same octave and are sounding in same frequency. So yeah, the next thing that I'm going to tell you guys is to pick good sounds. Take your time to produce. Don't just rush and just pick anyhow sound. Most times you listen to people's beats and you're like, ah man, I like the way this beat sounds. It's because they take their time and they pick good sounds. That also goes into your drums. Don't just pick sound in your drums and you are complaining that, oh, it's not sounding right, or probably you will make it sound right when you are mixing. No, your mixing starts when you start making your beats. So make sure you are picking in good sound, you know. You can hear the whole sound. So please make sure you are picking good sound, even to your instrument, to your drums. Very, very, very important. Another thing, this one is going to be based on when you are mixing your vocals, which is removing unnecessary sound on vocals. For instance, let's say your vocal is singing, and shout out to Michael, because this pack and this vocal was already cleaned. So what do I mean by unnecessary sound? Let's say situation whereby you click on the record, for instance, around this side. Let's say you click on record and maybe he or she haven't started recording the artist. You can remove this excess sound. You can see how I remove excess sound, and I just need just the main vocals to be singing. And also you'll be hearing all these when they are singing, or those breaths. So you want to make sure that you are removing them, or some artists want it to be natural, so you can reduce it so it doesn't really overshadow the main vocals. So that's one thing that you can start doing as well. Another thing that you can start doing is to make sure you have a reference track when you are mixing. The reference track is very, very important. That way it's not like you are mixing to sound like the reference track. You are just mixing to sound close to it, and you're using it as a guide. And for Ableton users, once you drag in your reference track, for instance, into this channel, you want to make sure you go into this button right here, and you just click on external out, so that way the MP3 doesn't take effect from your masters, so that you can get it natural as it was mixed. So you can now start using it to like mix your own track and solo, and try to see if what you are getting is sounding just like your reference track. And another thing, when I mean reference track, don't just pick a random song. Make sure you are picking a song that sounds close to what you have. So that is also very important. Another thing you can start doing today is also using automations. So let's say, for instance, now this particular sound, I want it to shine around this side. So instead of me picking a sound or lowering this, I can just come back and just click in. I can drop in a utility. I like doing automations on utility, so that way I'll be able to control this, because I notice when I create an automation here and I just touch the volume while I'm mixing, my automation automatically goes off. So I drag in a utility on whatever channel I want to do my automation, and this gain is the volume and the balance is the left pan and right automation. So for instance, let's say I want this side now, I want this pad sound to be higher than the piano. I can just come to my automation, click here, click on the show automation for gain, then click here like so, then bring this up like so, and voila, automatically get to see it. So how else can you also use this technique? For instance, let's say you have a sax playing all through the track, and when the vocal comes in the verse, you want the sax or whatever instrument playing to come down a little. You can automate it and bring it down a little so the vocals can shine. So in a situation whereby your intro or your outro, where the vocals is no longer talking, you can now automate and bring up those volumes, and that way you can see how clean everything is going to be. You start using automation to level your volumes. When you notice that, oh, I love the volume of this whole side, but this particular side, I feel like this thing is too loud, you can just bring in automation, automate the volume and bring it down. So that's like technically how you do, but make sure you drag in a utility on that channel. I would advise that if you are using Ableton, so that way you don't get to encounter that situation that I just spoke about. So I feel like these are key things that you can start using today. And also for your vocals, if you want a clean delay, you can put your delay on a send. Then when your delay is on a send, you can drag in a compressor, drag in a compressor, and you can sidechain it to your vocals. So let's say we sidechain it to our vocals now. So what that means is whenever our vocal sings, is talking, the delay docks, and whenever the vocal stops, the delay comes up. So let's try to practice. Let's practicalize that so you can see what it sounds. So Champagne Vox 97. So let's go to the B and raise it up. let's put it to fourth notes. So you can see how clean the delay is. The delay is not even affecting the vocal. So you can start doing that today. Instead of putting your delay on your instrument channel, you can just put your delay on a send or a return track. And how do you add that on Ableton? Just come there and right click and insert return track. That is like a send track. So these are like basically easy thing. Like I said, this is like a Monday rush tutorial, and yeah, I hope you learn one or two things. Just start doing all of this that I've showed you today, and I'll show you that you start making good mix. Until I catch you guys in the next video, remember to stay positive, and positive things always happen to you. Peace.